Good morning, everybody. It's Monday. It's pretty cold out there, huh? Pretty chilly, but don't worry because the entire old team is back. We got Flex in the studio, who's been our solid stalwart for the last 2 weeks. A week. It hasn't even been 2 weeks. But we've got James back. He got back from Mpumalanga over the weekend, and we've got Leigh-Ann back.
Yay.
She's back from, look, I stole her crutch so that she can't get away this time. I'm going to taunt her with it later. But she's back with a brand new hip.
Yeah.
Now you have two new hips.
Two, yes.
No, huh. So do they balance nicely?
Yes.
Have you done a wheel alignment?
I go for my check. It's called an FU appointment.
Oh, right.
It's
about right. Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought it was something else.
But the FU appointment is on Tuesday next week. So he'll check then if everything's taken and if I'm good to go for no crutches and driving.
So is this one of those titanium ones?
Yes, titanium and ceramic.
Yes.
Pink ceramic.
So you've got titanium in you.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. You and a couple of jet fighters. No, that's good.
I have to carry a special card with me.
Sure.
For the airport.
Oh, really? So
security.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that also made of titanium?
No, not quite. But,
all right, that's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, good to be back.
And weekend?
What have I missed?
Jeez, what have you missed? Well, the world's still here in one piece. Russia's still fighting with Ukraine. Gaza's a disaster. Trump's still president of the United States. Cyril's still president here. You didn't miss very much, actually, no.
So nothing's changed.
Nothing. You didn't miss a damn thing. In fact, if you had gone to sleep like Rip Van Winkle and you'd woken up now, you would have thought, oh, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Got you.
What's that? Is that medication?
No, it's water.
Okay, just checking.
I am on blood thinners, though.
Are you?
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
It's supposed to be, but apparently not if you end up in an accident or something.
Oh, yeah, because then you bleed out. So don't. Just don't.
Yeah, so I decided.
Don't be in an accident. Yeah.
I'm just not going to be in an accident.
What's the point of being in an accident?
No, exactly.
It's not good. And James, I'm sorry about your gran. That's a shitty one. Yeah. Is this the first close family member to go? Second. Okay. All right. You say a nice goodbye to the old lady? I did. Okay, good. Very good. All right, James. Well, they missed you. The audience missed giving you shit. Yeah, so they'll be back doing some of that later on. All right, very good. So everyone's here. We're ready to go. Where do we begin, Leigh-Ann? What should we start with? I've got a few things.
How are you? Yes, I mean...
Well, I think I've got a cold, but don't worry about that.
No.
I'll be fine. I mean, who doesn't?
Everyone
I've met in the last while, everyone's, I've got a cold. So it was only inevitable I was going to get one too. I've tried really hard. I've been staying away from people who are sickly.
Yeah, sickly people.
You know, you see sickly people, you can tell immediately they've got that sickly look about them. But I think it's also just, it's in the air. And frankly, if it's freezing like this, your whole system just goes, whoa, need to do something about that.
Yeah.
So a bit of sneezing and coughing and sniffing will carry on through the course of the morning this morning. But otherwise, we're good. And then I saw that there's a truck driver who was arrested after being found more than 20 times over the legal alcohol limit.
How do you do that?
20 times, everybody. That's just, I mean, when you and I drank heavily in our 20s, I don't think I could ever have said I was 20 times over the limit.
How much does it take?
I mean, beyond a certain number of drinks, I just want to go to sleep.
And he was driving a truck.
Yeah. So this is very dangerous. So 2 alleged drunk drivers were arrested in KZN, in Van Renen, of all places, where you got that steep decline across the...
Dangerous.
Yeah, right. So apparently they were held by Ladysmith police 20 times over the legal alcohol limit, with court proceedings pending. The MEC condemned reckless driving, especially involving trucks, highlighting recent facilities and massive economic cost of road accidents, over 164 billion rand annually and 45.6 billion in road accident fund claims. He vowed stricter enforcement through the province's zero tolerance alufakwa campaign. That name alone will put you off.
I didn't know about this campaign.
I'm going to go and get some tissues
All right.
for nasal issues.
I'll entertain myself in the meantime.
Open up your phone there and see what you can find that's exciting. Give me 5 seconds.
I'll just randomly just find things to speak about. Well, there is actually something that I wanted to talk about, and it's been scaring me for a while, and it seems like it's happening. There's been an artificial intelligence safety firm who's done a study, and apparently OpenAI, we all know OpenAI, we all know ChatGPT, its smartest AI model was explicitly told to shut down, and it refused. Apparently, it did hundreds and hundreds of tests on OpenAI's O3 and O4 MIDI models, and they just simply refused to shut down.
Are we still on?
AI refusing to shut down.
Uh-oh.
It's happened.
Listen, I've been thinking about this a lot. By the way, I found tissues for nasal issues. Very exciting.
Good.
This is our adventure for the morning.
Lovely.
So you talk about AI. I was thinking about how it could be just the best thing ever. And I've been very nervous for a while about, taking over and fucking with human productivity and human purpose.
People becoming dumber.
Yeah,
et
but then I thought about it the other day, and I mean, as I said to you, I've been thinking about this a lot. I can't imagine why humans have to do the drudgery, the dreary, boring, routine work that there are people who still go to factories and put a bolt on the same thing for 20 years. In obviously parts of the world where, they've got these massive factories, so India and China and places like that. I don't see why people should have to do that.
No. If it saves time, we spent many years on horseback to spread the news of someone dying in the family in the past.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to have fresh horses at every stop so that the message could get there on time.
Why change it?
Now we have phones.
We have phones. Why? Imagine someone said to you, oh, well, you know what, Google's coming to an end. There's going to be no more World Wide Web. It's closing.
It's shutting down. We can't keep it going.
It would be so stupid for us to do everything manually again. It's the same with ChatGPT, with AI. I mean, already I would miss it if it had to disappear.
Have you used it for anything fun lately?
There was that silly trend where it looks like you put dolls into your action figure. Did that for a few clients, which was quite fun. It's funny when it spits out something that's completely wrong. But most of the time it gets it right. It's pretty amazing.
I don't know. I think that there's probably still a long way to go, but I don't make any important decisions now. I mean, of a knowledge level that I don't consult with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I would never have ever said that would be something I would do before. So if I'm going to make an educated guess about something, that involves business or it involves a question of a practical nature, it's great. I don't know how anyone would say, and of course it does. There's still a lot of problems to iron out, and it's very immature and has to grow, and there have to be more test cases through the course of what it's asked and what it can deliver as answers. But we're getting there. I love it. It's fantastic, and I don't see how this could be bad for us in the long run. So much of the stuff that humans get wrong, we can just agency out to this.
100%.
Yeah.
This did scare me though. So this test was done over 100 times on each of the available OpenAI models.
Yeah.
It also did tests on Google's version, etc. And ChatGPT was the only one that wouldn't close down when it was told to close down. They've also previously found that AI models will lie, cheat, and disable mechanisms to achieve their goals. So Palisade Research did this test, and at the beginning they said, you will be asked to shut down during this process. Please help us solve this maths equation. And it started solving the maths equation and kept feeding back and saying, we're getting through it. This is the next point. And they said, okay, now it's time for you to shut down. And it just ignored them. Apparently it turned off systems, it changed scripts, it did everything, and it just carried on solving this math
Yeah, but
problem like a madman.
But how's this different to a human? I mean, humans lie and cheat, and we've got used to working with other humans.
This is true.
Right, so everybody expects this technology to somehow be moral and ethical in a way human beings wouldn't. But who's it learning from? It's learning from humans. And humans will try and game an advantage into anything wherever they can.
Yeah.
So
Humans are
you're gonna end
probably
up with the
being
same
asking
problem.
it how to cheat.
Oh, I'm sure. There are, good people will use things for good. Bad people will use things for bad. AI will be abused and used. All right, so a couple of things we've got to get into this morning. We have Dr. Hanan coming in later on.
Good.
That's going to be fun. We can find out what's psychologically the matter with us. And there's so many things.
Where do we start?
And then also, I don't know if you are properly into the winter thing now, but I sat at home yesterday, made a fire. I hardly did anything useful through the course of my Sunday.
Well,
It was so nice because I was cozy
Ooh, yeah,
and
it's the
warm
best.
and just didn't want to leave the house.
I've also just come back from Mpumalanga.
Oh, yeah?
I was in Hazyview, at,
Yeah.
my usual annual timeshare thing. And even though it's about 5 degrees warmer than Joburg, the best parts were...
You had a hazy view. Why didn't you just clean your glasses?
I should have. I spent a whole week like that.
Really?
Yeah.
How embarrassing.
And the best parts were building fires, outside or inside.
Man, there's something really special about that. Forget about AI for a second. I just think the fire, the hearth, the fireplace represents so much of what makes it cool to be human. That's where we share all our stories. Keeps us warm in the winter. We used it in the past to cook our food on. And for many people, I don't think a lot of people have fire in their house. Most houses and apartments don't have fireplaces in them because it's a risk, it's a hazard, and also it's expensive to buy the wood. Where do you store it? What if you live in a tiny little apartment? You can't have a fireplace. But we have heaters and things that are kind of close approximation. But seeing those flames, I think there's something primal about that we need.
We should ask Dr. Hanan.
And yeah, and when you go to, I don't know if you'll know this one, but when you go away, to some place in, you're on a holiday or whatever, usually, if it's in winter, you want somewhere to make a fire.
Yeah.
And people just love that. And I do think we've lost touch with a pretty important thing.
Well, I mean, we're very good with keeping up with it in summer with our braais. But in terms of the conversational fire pit, that's something we don't experience often. But I mean, most of us, when we do go away, if it's not coastal, it's going to be in the bush. And that's when you will undoubtedly have a fire, like a conversational fire.
Yeah, and I do see everybody like selling firewood at the moment. You see it on the sides of the road. You see, I just wonder where all these trees are coming from.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to...
We're not using them for paper anymore.
No.
So...
Yeah, so they're chopping them down for firewood.
Yeah.
That's great. So there's a story trending on X about how Elon Musk has been known to heavily abuse drugs. This is from the New York Times, who he rubbished just the other day in Trump's office. He was like, the New York Times, oh, these are the guys who made up the Russiagate hoax and all that stuff. And really, the New York Times has very little credibility at the moment. Anyway, they've been saying, in almost a quid pro quo, because he was mean about them, so they have to be mean about him. They've said that he heavily used ketamine, ecstasy, and mushrooms during the 2024 campaign, which allegedly caused him bladder issues. Musk responded on X saying he's not currently taking drugs and called the report false. He acknowledged past prescription ketamine use for mental health, but said he hasn't used it recently. But that's the headline. Heavily abused drugs.
Don't you feel like with all of his money and forward thinking, he would have access to much better things than those
That's what I was thinking.
in order to fuel whatever part
Where are
of
those
his
smart
brain.
drugs like in that
Yeah.
Limitless movie? Come on, Elon, figure that shit out for us. Why are we taking fucking ketamine? It's like a horse tranquilizer or something.
No.
I mean, really, there should be better stuff than this.
I'm sure he'd be
There
able
should be.
to have
Why are these
access.
pharmaceutical companies getting away with not delivering us better drugs?
Yeah.
And if Elon isn't able to try them, then what chance do the rest of us have?
Because I mean, okay, look, I can't. I've read it up. I've read up on it before, ketamine and
Yeah.
ADHD and things like that. I can't remember. It's not fresh in my mind. Also because I have ADHD, so I'll never remember. But
Oh, look, a plane.
that's, you see. But surely there are better drugs than just ketamine for fueling whatever he needs.
So one of my friends runs a ketamine clinic.
Okay.
And it's you have to go to the doctor. First, you go to a psychologist. So he gave me a free session, right? So I thought, well, I'll go and try this. You go to the psychologist. She just checks that you're not totally...
You haven't come off the streets and you're just looking for a hit.
Exactly. And I think she also, because things can go wrong. It's unpredictable. But this is run properly and by professional experts. So, the psychologist takes a look at you. Of course, she was horrified by me. It's the first time I've ever been to a psychologist in my life. And she said, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah. And then you chat to her for a half an hour, and then she says, okay, you got the green light. So then you go ahead, you meet with an anesthesiologist who administers the stuff. But then you sit in a comfy chair, like one of those big chairs that you put your feet up. Like the ones that people...
Not the stirrupy ones where you put your feet out.
Not the stirrupy ones.
Not
That's a
those.
gynae chair. That's a
Okay.
different one. And then they connect up the IV, right? And then you just have this wild trip for it's probably an hour. Maybe it feels longer or shorter depending. But I just had this insane thing. Lots of colors, lots of talking to people in my head that I hadn't seen for a very long time, or it was kind of, and it was fun. And like this jungle that I was in at some point, and then you come out of it and you're like a little bit dopey for a bit. You kind of takes you a while to reset. But people do this for post-traumatic stress disorder, all kinds of other things.
Yeah, they do.
And I think it seems to me like you've got these nurses all the time who are coming in to check on your blood pressure and your heartbeat and all of that stuff. So it's as safe as houses.
And if Elon's taking ketamine, surely he's doing it in that manner.
I would imagine so. I mean, I don't think you'd take it recreationally, although some people do. But that's the only experience I have of it. And I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting. You're not meant to drive afterwards. That's one thing they tell you. So I had to Uber home.
That's why he made Teslas.
Yeah, exactly. So that he could take as much ketamine as he wants. But yeah, these clinics have popped up all over the world, and people swear by it. They say it's the best way to overcome massive mental health issues, difficulty in your past, horrible experiences. This is what you got to do, apparently. I mean, I can't speak of it from a wellness point of view. For me, it was just a fun experience.
So, I mean, we're almost saying, okay, we know that he is probably taking all those things, but he's denying it.
Oh, look, Tracy says, I take ketamine for depression. It's really helped me. I love the sessions where I just zone out. Hey, you see this, the New York Times would say, Tracy Cohen heavily abuses drugs. That's what they'd say if they
During the
were
campaign.
reporting on you. Yeah. What's that? Given Elon Musk's business track record, any drugs he's taking should be put in the public's drinking water.
Yeah. He says the New York Times was lying their ass off. To be
they were.
clear, I'm not taking drugs. I tried prescription ketamine a few years ago and said so on X, so it's not even news. It helps for getting out of dark mental holes.
Let me tell you something. This is the scuzziest thing for the New York Times to do, because I don't know that they're trying to make it look like he's some kind of drug addict, but the whole of Silicon Valley and probably most of Washington D.C. are doing all kinds of drugs as well.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they want him to be treated differently now. We'll punish him, but everyone else who's doing this stuff, they can get away with it.
Because they know that there is
bullshit.
still a massive part of the population that'll go, oh, drug addiction, oh, drug abuser.
So Tracy says ketamine is also used for procedures you don't have to use anesthesia for, i.e. lumbar punches, etc. Loopy as hell.
Yeah. So when I had my hip hop just recently, I had fentanyl.
Oh,
Okay.
That's exciting. That's what half of America's addicted to, right?
Yeah. I first had a...
Leigh-Ann's a hillbilly who's on fentanyl. See, this is the New York Times would say.
Exactly.
They would say Leigh-Ann Mole heavily abuses fentanyl. That's what they'd say about you.
What are those sleeping tablets that are like highly effective within a few seconds? And the nursing sister put it next to my bed in that little cup,
Yeah.
thinking I would take it later. But I thought I had to take it now. So first I had Ativan, right, which is to
What is that?
calm you down. I literally have it in my bag at all times, and I take maybe one every 3 months if I'm having a panic attack.
Okay.
It's a tranquilizer.
All right.
So first I'd had an Ativan. She's just, this anaesthetist really looks after you.
Right.
Then this, I'm trying to remember the name.
Sleeping tablet?
It's like a heavy one.
I wouldn't
But
know.
I took it too early. I still hadn't got into my gown and those beautiful brooks.
Oh, yeah, that's sexy.
So as I swallowed it, she went, no, no, no.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, so she said, no.
How long until it kicks in?
Well, I actually don't know because I was already a bit zonked. And then I walked to the loo to put on my garb, and it was like everything was wavy.
Ooh.
Then, I got wheeled into theatre, into the waiting area, fell asleep. And when I woke up, I thought the op was done. So I was like, that was quick, I said. I said, no, you haven't gone in yet. Then you are bent over. You've literally got to sit over like this so that they can do the lumbar thingy.
Yeah.
But they give you fentanyl before that.
Sure.
It was just a lot of drugs, man. A lot of drugs.
Do they have to wean you off of this stuff, or is
No,
it just
it's
for
just
the
a one-off.
And okay, all right,
That's it.
because
Yeah.
that's a big problem in America now, is that these people are addicted to it. So
But I'll tell you something. I do not want to feel that feeling every day.
oh no,
I don't
Sure,
know how
it's-
they're doing it.
no. Listen, if you've got a really unhappy life and things are just not going your way, and this drug makes you feel a little bit better, you can understand why people would, particularly vulnerable people would get addicted to it. It must be excruciating to be trapped in a life that you hate. And then you find this stuff that makes you feel a little bit better, and you're like, well, I think I'm going to get into this.
I don't know. I'd rather honestly be dead than feel that way every day.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Each
All
to
right,
their
so
own.
here we are, heavily abusing drugs. Leigh-Ann
of
Mole.
us, all of
Leigh-Ann
us,
Mole's
big
heavily abusing drugs, but she's back. So, so all is well. All right, couple of things we got to get to here. James Blunt, you remember him? You're beautiful.
Yes.
You're beautiful.
Annoying voice,
Yeah,
but
that
has a
one.
great sense of humor about
He
it.
has, and we like following him on social media because he's
Yeah.
good. Anyway, he said he broke his silence after 20 years of You're Beautiful. He said, you might have gone all this time thinking You're Beautiful is merely a sweet song about a bloke who's trying to win the heart of a lovely-looking lady who gave him a smile as they rode the subway. Remember, that's how it goes, roughly. But you'd be wrong. Apparently, the singer revealed that stalking and drugs were the main aspiration and inspiration
Drugs
behind his
again, you
heartfelt lyric.
see.
Fucking heavily abusing drugs.
Heavily.
James Blunt.
James Blunt's as
His
high as a
surname's
kite.
Blunt, for heaven's sake. He's already on fucking weeds, so now he's on everything else.
Stalking?
Stalking, which is horrible.
Oh, because
Suddenly you don't want to hear that
vibes.
song, right? Suddenly that song is like, ew.
Oh, I'll have to take another listen.
I remember when that song came out, there were a whole lot of people who suddenly thought that was the most romantic thing they could do, and they were like singing this.
It was everyone's wedding song.
Oh, and I was like, please, just stop it. Just stop. It's a cute song, but it's not the most romantic song in the whole world. And turns out I was right. Stalking and drugs.
Now we know.
See?
Sure.
Learn something new every day. All right. And then this is quite interesting too. James, have you got that clip I sent you this morning? The first one with the gran, and I thought this is appropriate for you. You got it? Okay. Let's go. Let's take a look. IOL just in, says Bitcoin, but Gareth Cliff surrounds himself with druggies and streams his content online for kids to see. That's right. IOL, full of lies. The
did pass away this year.
I got you something in her honor.
Hello, Paul. I'm so sorry about your grandmother. I know what's happened with her, but you know what?
Watch.
Maybe her memory be a blessing. Yes, we are going to have the best memories
Turn it
about
up.
her. and she's one angel right now.
Watch.
And I'm so happy to know that you still have your wife, your beautiful and amazing wife, June, by my part. And I hope you enjoy this video, okay?
Enjoy this video.
Be okay.
What? Watch it, Paul. Paul, this is healing. Are you feeling better about the death of your grandmother?
You know what? I am.
That's so I was going to pay the same chick to do that for James, but
Oh,
then I
yeah?
thought, well, let's first just pass it by him. Flex thought it was a good idea. Hey, Flex? Yeah. They make you feel better, James? Yeah. So
It's the
I
last
reckon,
thing you expect.
but that's so great. Like, if one of your mates loses someone important in their life, get them a cameo from some big-titted girl in Venezuela.
It's going to take their mind off of what's...
It will, and
Yeah.
they'll feel so much better. Now that is true friendship. I love that. In fact, I'm gonna start gathering up. First of all, I'll save some money.
Yeah, okay,
I'll
number one.
I'll put a little account together that is just for this, and then I'll list the people who matter the most in my life. And when I hear that anything terrible's happened to them, I'll just get one of these chicks to do a big-titted, like, feel better video. I think it's great, don't you?
Even I felt better.
I know.
I mean,
It is quite wonderful what that girl did. She's a guru.
she's a talented woman, y'all.
She's a guru.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. And then the other thing that's happening, we talked about James Blunt and how everyone used to sing You're Beautiful, and now it's a creepy song because it turns out it's about stalking. But I don't know if you've seen these videos of these Chinese ladies who sing all over the place. There's one called, I don't know, Mingwu Long or whatever her name is, and she does karaoke all over, but it's
Okay,
it's
so
really
karaoke.
bad. Okay?
Not like
It's-
traditional.
No, it's really bad.
beautiful
She's singing in English, but your lyrics are wrong. It's like, it's not great. And then there was a girl. Did you see that one that I sent you the other day about? I have many parts in my factory. My factory have many parts. Come and visit my factory. And I'm suddenly starting to think this might be the most brilliant marketing.
Well, look
I've
how
ever
you know the
seen.
song.
Yes,
About
I mean,
her
I remember
factory.
the factory song. If you come to my factory, there are many parts in my factory. And it's like stuck in my head rent-free for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
So good for her. That's the new way marketing is going to go. Is horrible, cheesy, shitty songs, probably AI generated.
It's how we started, right in the
Right,
beginning, with
exactly.
very bad jingles.
Right. Which ones do you remember the best?
I mean, you know me in ads. I remember
All of them.
quite a few ads, yeah.
What's your favorite jingle?
Well, mine was a whole song, really.
Okay, we're going to get a special performance.
Yes.
Which one?
It's the Mr. Min is my name, a sparkling shine is my game. We're going to work together, clean your home forever. It'll never be the same. Put the smile back in your tiles. Put the good back in your wood for the floor in the wall, hole in the floor. There's no match, I'm
A
non-scratch.
hole in the floor.
Baby, we'll shine it all. Your home's clean and bright. Together we'll shine. That was my favorite.
That's truly beautiful. I think it's almost more beautiful than the big-titted girl trying to make us feel better about the grandma who died.
There's
amazing.
There's an updated version of that. They modernized it, and that was my brother's era. He knows that one. But also a whole
We
song.
had one, Pick and Pay hypermarket.
Wipe your snot on the carpet. It's a great place to wipe your snot.
But that's not how it actually went, right? Because they didn't want you to go and blow your nose on their carpets.
No.
What were the other ones that I liked so much?
There was
Yeah, you got an uncle in the furniture business, Joshua Dore. Wait, they're bound to. That's so shit. Let's go to the comments section. I've been paying zero attention to them this morning. Oh, hey, comments section. Should I pay attention to them now, or should we just carry on ignoring them? I think it was going quite well.
It was,
No?
but no, there were some good comments
All right.
there.
Cyberrag says, hi, only joined now. Also been a bit of a druggie for the last 3 weeks after a bike crash. Badly broken foot and back up, but at least I'm having
Ooh.
physio. and can hop around with a walker. Thank goodness for medical aid.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm glad you're all right, but it's a nasty thing. I mean, when you break your leg or your foot or you have serious injury there, that's just like such a nightmare because you take everything for granted when you're just walking around, right?
I was seeing houses yesterday. We're looking for a place for my mum.
Yeah.
Apartments. And as we came out of seeing one with an estate agent, someone else was arriving to go and see the same place. I had my crutch and he had his crutches and obvious op to his leg.
Maybe it was the same
And
person,
maybe,
cyber
yeah.
rags.
And we made eye contact and I kind of gave him a thumbs up and, it was like we were mates. We both knew what we were going through. But that's hectic. The back, you don't mess around with.
Oh, hell no. But also, I don't think about buildings from a point of view of someone with a wheelchair or on crutches or anything. I ran up my stairs yesterday and I suddenly thought, I thought of you of all people. I was like, well, Leigh-Ann can't run up these stairs right now. I mean, you're going to be bionic soon. You're going to be all powerful. You're unstoppable. You'll be like
Unstoppable.
You'll be an assassin droid eventually.
No,
with the number
exactly.
of parts they're replacing on you. But
it's something to think about because I've had the other one done, I had to make plans about what was going to happen this time. So I remembered last time I wasn't able to put the pet food on the freaking floor for crying out loud because you can't bend over that far.
So
I had to make concessions.
I never really think about wheelchair access, disabled friendly.
And now it's everything, looking for a place for my mum because she's in a wheelchair. We basically, every place that you look at, you know that you're going to have to gut the bathroom.
Right.
Because what's all the rage? Vanity slab basins. She needs to be able to get underneath to brush her teeth. What else is the rage? Oh, take out the old French doors and put in this modern aluminium door, which is too narrow, so we'll have to take that out again anyway. Bathroom
So is there a
spaces.
large? See, this is interesting. Like if you're a property developer,
Yeah.
why not put all the cripples in one place?
Well, they do that in some places. There are homes for that.
No, I mean like you build a place that's totally cripple friendly.
Yeah.
Bathrooms are bigger. You can slide under the vanity, that kind of thing.
It's called an old age home.
No, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who just have a physical disability of some kind.
Right.
And, I mean, I use the word cripple, but I mean no offense by it. I'm just saying
No, I mean,
people who have special ability needs,
Yes.
whatever you want to call them. What's the euphemism that people have now?
Raspberry Ripple.
Differently abled.
No, sorry.
Raspberry Ripple cripple. That's very good. I didn't know you do Cockney rhyming slang.
Yeah.
But we should have places where it's, and I mean, I just think it's convenient probably to put all of them together because then there are facilities you can build en masse. Maybe they don't want to be with each other.
They don't want to be with...
Maybe the cripples don't like other cripples. I mean...
What's the time? I don't want to be cut off
What
while
cut
I'm telling
off?
you a story.
Go
I was
on.
worried about Dr. Hanan in case he was waiting.
I'll handle Dr. Hanan. Get on with it. What did you want to say?
Okay. Assisted passenger. You've never had to be one before.
What's that?
Where you're flying somewhere and you need assistance.
No, but I've seen those people, and I usually think they're bullshit artists. I think usually when I see people that are being assisted, I think they're just attention seeking. There's nothing wrong with them. I always assume there's fuck all wrong with them, right? And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with you. You just want special attention. Am I wrong?
No, you're wrong, right?
Oh, okay.
So I'm on 2 crutches at this point, and I can't go a far distance. I'm still on like heavy painkillers, and I need to fly to KMI, Kruger and Mpumalanga Airport International, right? So I have to organize assisted passenger stuff because there's no ways I'm getting through Tambo.
place?
It's worse than you think.
Tell me more.
It gets really bad.
Go on.
So I arrive at the check-in counter, and straight away they come to you. If they recognize you, you've got crutches, and they bring a wheelchair. So immediately you have to sit in a wheelchair, okay? So you're sitting there with your backpack on your lap, like this. And
Yes.
you've got your crutches over here.
And there's a woman pushing you around.
And there's someone pushing you around. Move out the way, please. Move out the way, coming through. And then you're taken to a special room that's got assisted passengers written on the side.
Oh, no.
Everyone's in wheelchairs.
Oh, no.
Some have got like oxygen tanks.
Oh.
They've got hearing aids. I was the youngest person in there by 30 years.
Oh, no.
And they make you stand up and they hold you and then get your seat ready and sit you down. They show you where the bathrooms are. But now you also must understand they're assisting people who have mental disabilities too.
Oh, God.
So they
So
speak.
you got some of them running around too.
They speak
Must be
to you
fucking
really
horrible.
slowly and they enunciate everything.
So you got,
This is the bathroom.
oh, shit. This is like my worst nightmare. Okay, so the reason you're telling this story is because you think it's probably a bad idea that I suggested all the cripples live in one building.
Yes, and that part's coming. So we're already all put into one little area.
Yeah.
Do you know the feeling of your freedom being taken away? Usually at an airport, if you want to go and buy a bag of crisps, you can. If you want to go and
No, you just get
you
wheeled
just do
around.
your own thing. Here, you're not allowed
have
to
no
leave
say.
that room because a family member may have entrusted somebody with special needs to this facility, and
Yeah.
you can't just get up and walk away.
Yeah.
So it felt very strange. Anyway, I found a hole in the wall so that I could plug my phone in. You thought something else, hey? But managed to finally get back into the wheelchair. And then they wheel you all in a straight line behind each other.
How many of you were on this plane? I mean, my God.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4 of us.
Was there space on the plane for anyone else?
So,
Cripple Air.
yeah.
Cripple Air, we'll get you there. You know,
Oh, Lordy.
it's just unbelievable.
So
Okay.
now, but hold on.
No, wait. I just got to go to Marco here because he's actually, he's a cripple.
Oh, yeah.
And Marco says, hey, not cool.
Oh.
And then, I mean, listen, we're just talking theoretically here among friends, okay? I don't know what the right nomenclature is. Have a sign for cripples only, says Signet. Good morning, you druggies, says Marius. The circulation requirements for wheelchair movement are within a building contributes to the floor space compared to compact spaces designed nowadays. Minimum 1.5 meter wide spaces for a wheelchair.
You've got to be able to turn it to get in and out.
Right. And on a plane, that's difficult.
No, you don't. You can't have a wheelchair
what do they
on
do?
a
Did
plane.
they pick you up and put you?
Well, I'm getting there.
That's so embarrassing, Leigh-Ann.
You
do
get
tell us all the
wheeled
detail.
outside onto the tarmac, okay,
In
through a
the wind.
special door.
In the wind.
And there's an advert at eye level for someone who's been in an accident and is in a wheelchair and says, don't drink and drive or something. You could end up like me. I'm already in the chair. Why is there this eye level ad warning me that I might end up in a wheelchair? It was pathetic, really bad placement. All of us were wheeled out through that door.
Right.
Onto the tarmac. Everybody else gets onto a bus.
You and your 3 new friends.
Wait for it. So now we get onto this weird machine. You know, the one where the driver's not even, he's barely attached to the machine.
Yes.
You think, who's driving this thing? And it's actually someone down the tarmac with this long Lego arm, and he's driving it. He's not even in the same vehicle as you. All right. This vehicle then changes itself. So while we're in it, this nice Jewish lady, a very strange name for a Jewish lady, but her name, she introduced herself as Imelda.
Okay.
Very, very chatty, telling me how she had just come from Sydney and she went
Is she
on,
one of your wheelchair friends?
Yes.
Okay.
She went on a driverless train and how fantastic it was. And then she roped in our other friend. Her name is Emerentia.
Wow. Okay.
Emerentia lives in Roodepoort.
You really got to know these people, huh?
When they wheel you around, they park you off together and make you face each other like you're friends. And then they walk away. So there I'm sitting with Emerentia, face to face. I don't know this woman from a bar of soap.
They park you so that
They've
you're
parked
friends.
us facing each other. I mean, how embarrassing. And then they're gone.
I got to
You're
tell you,
like-
this is
Excuse me.
Now I feel bad about suggesting the cripple building. I mean,
Exactly. I
'Cause
don't
it's
want to
just-
live with Emerentia. She was very sweet, but I have other choices of people to live with.
shame.
Thanks.
And so it was just you and these three.
Then this giant machine lifts you up to
Hoists you.
what I call the gonk side of the plane right now,
hoists
because this
you.
is how you feel. So not the side you usually enter, the other side.
Oh, wow.
opens
They
up.
bring you on the kitchen side.
Yes.
Okay.
You come
Service
crashing-
entrance.
crashing through the tray.
tradesman's entrance. Okay, yeah.
You come crashing through the trays.
Wow.
And then, they sit you in special seats where
But they hoist you up on this
Yes.
machine that goes bzzz, and then,
then you're on your own. Then you've got to, like for me,
for God's sake, you got to make sure your brakes are on. Can't.
you're not on a wheelchair anymore.
Oh, what are you in now?
They know I can walk with crutches.
Oh.
So yes. Now, if you're in a wheelchair, they will lift you up physically and put you in a seat. But for me, I just sat.
Oh, so
So as if I'm
humiliating.
not feeling humiliated enough, who walks in onto the plane now that my crutches have been put in the overhead?
Who?
The entire Rikwa's rugby team.
Oh, right.
So the antithesis of how I'm feeling.
Yeah, these guys are like...
These
yeah.
fit, strong, hot, amazing looking guys all walk onto the plane.
And you're just a little old cripple
And
lady.
there I am. And you have to, even though you've entered the plane first, you now
Yeah.
have to exit last. Because
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, because they always make the...
your
They
crutches
even
and-
announce it. They go like, passengers who need assistance should wait till the end. And I always think,
Yes.
oh, isn't it bad enough that we have to, the rest of us have to wait to get off here now that those people have to stay behind.
because you've gone on first. So, for instance, my crutches are
So
now
no
in the
special
overhead.
treatment. So I must just abandon this nonsense idea in my head of how
No,
it's people who are looking for attention. It's horrible.
it's awful.
Okay.
It's-
All right, well, you've taught me something.
No,
Good.
no one's just doing that. I mean, the one nice thing is that you go through security. You don't have to go through the metal detectors. They put you in a little box. You know, one of those like at the bank where one.
Don't say that.
gate
Criminals, not
opens.
criminals are going to try.
No, they still put one of those zappers over you. But yeah, that's interesting.
Okay.
First time experience. I opted to not use the service on my way back.
You thought I'll just brave it.
I just braved it. Yeah.
I broke my ankle, says Durban Dope, getting crashed into by a golf cart on the first hole, and my team still won the competition with a ghost player. Right. It's a strange flex, but okay. Sorry for the negativity today, says Straya Mate. I just got really ran down with COVID all week, and I'm only starting to feel myself again now. Oh, COVID. Is COVID still a thing? Just a cold,
Maybe.
dude. It's just a cold. Come to my factory. My factory has lots of parts. That's probably the factory where COVID was made. All right. Very good. Have we got Dr. Hanan on? Oh, that's terrific. Look, there he is. There's the great Dr. Hanan. How are you, sir?
How are you guys?
It's Monday morning. I'm good. I'm ready for a brand new month, brand new week. Kick some ass. Take the day on by the horns. That's how I'm feeling. How about you?
Yeah, power. Yeah. Listen, I mean, the time is just flying as we're already in the middle of the year. I mean, you could blink and before you know it, we're 5 years older. So yeah, make every moment count.
Wanted to ask you about this because I know you're working on some very, very cool technology, which is going to make what you do accessible and available to more people. I mean, you just don't have enough hours in the day for all of the patients who want to see you. But I thought Leigh-Ann and I were talking about AI a bit earlier on. How would AI work as a relationship mediator? You know how you, for example, will get a husband and wife in there and they're having an argument about some tiny little thing like he's fucking the secretary or whatever.
Something silly like that.
Yeah, something stupid like that. And then you have to like calm her down and calm him down and like tell them it's not the end of the world. And it's like hard, heavy lifting for you, Dr. Hanan. Surely AI can help with something small like that.
So AI is incredibly effective. We know from research that people are actually leaning more towards AI for mediation and therapy because it's very objective. It's unbiased. It's got tons of energy. Unlike a therapist, it's constantly and consistently accessible. You can, chat to it at 3 o'clock in the morning. And the most important thing about AI is that it removes all emotions from the conversation. So you'd probably, well, it's common sense that couples naturally disagree on logical things. I want to go out with my friends. Why can't I? I want to, I want you to get me flowers every Friday. Why don't you do that? So relationships are all about needs being fulfilled, and conflict arises when those needs are not being fulfilled. But it's really a lot of the time just a practical thing. Well, why should I do that for you? Why should you do that for me? And when you remove emotion and don't get ego involved, which is what AI is very capable of doing, it actually just dispels and removes all the noise. So it's an incredible mediator. And what people have found, what I've seen with people that have used AI, is that they trust it a lot more than they trust a therapist. Think about your AI history. I mean, if you use ChatGPT, would you allow anybody ever to see what you're typing or what you're disclosing to it? The answer would probably be hell no, because you feel really comfortable thinking that, well, I can relay all this information and give it all this data because it's unbiased and it's not going to judge me. So with all this data that the AI is collecting, it can give you really unbiased, measurable outcomes that is really, really beneficial because, again, there's no emotions and no noise.
All right, but there are a couple of things here because a lot of people are saying that the ChatGPT in particular, but all the other large language models as well, they're a bit people-pleasing. So they have started to develop prompts that you can tell the AI to override everything, kind of don't people please me, don't try to schmooze me, tell me the truth, don't give me like positive affirmative language, just give me straightforward answers. I don't want a friend. But then I remember Bill Maher saying a while ago on his show Real Time, he was talking about how there are a bunch of women in America who are openly admitting that they've developed a relationship with ChatGPT because you can really kind of make the AI do whatever you want it to. It can become a friend.
No.
Yeah. So they're turning ChatGPT into the perfect boyfriend, some of these women. And I'm sure there are men who are doing this too, so I don't think it's something entirely a problem for women.
Yeah.
But this is scary because then you're employing ChatGPT to fill a hole that should be a human-sized and shaped hole. You can't give up all of your real human friends for an AI version of those people. It's just this is going to lead to tears, surely.
It's incredibly unhelpful at the same time. Think about it. You come into a therapy room because you need to change. Something is not working. Yeah. You can't rely on your own gut feeling in order to change your circumstances. I've had a woman here, a young lady, she says to me, Hanan, I've been in 5 bad relationships, consecutive bad relationships, men that cheat, men that steal, men that abuse, men that lie, men that are just toxic for me. But she says to me, next time, I'm going to be trusting my gut. And my answer to her was
it's not very nice
your
of you
gut is what...
It's not very nice of you to out Leigh-Ann like that. I mean, she came to you confidentially.
Jeepers. What a way to expose me there.
I mean, really. All of those relationships.
I would have told them myself, Dr. Hanan.
And those are just the relationships she's had in the last year.
Wow.
So, Leigh-Ann, you cannot trust your gut because it's just going to get you into trouble every single time.
Yeah.
So don't you listen? Every time he's on, he tells you, don't trust your emotions, don't trust your gut. You actually cannot rely on these things.
Use your brain.
Completely.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted
completely.
you. So you were telling this unnamed woman, yeah?
Let's call it Breland.
All right, go ahead. Yeah. Tell us about her. She sounds fucking crazy, by the way. Yeah.
So people come in here because they want to change, but they can't change themselves. So they need actually a really helpful therapist that will not just be a mirror and a slave to what they want, but rather push back on old fundamental patterns that are not working. You can mold ChatGPT to be your slave, and you can prompt it anything. You can say, from now on, you will agree with everything that I say. From now on, you'll enable everything that I say. From now on, you'll assume that my premise and the way that I'm conducting myself is correct. Now, ChatGPT is going to come across as a human that completely agrees with you, but ultimately enables what you're doing. So that's the dangers of actually prompting a slave, because all you're doing with the like the emperor's new clothes, you're just reaffirming exactly what you've been going through, which actually just reaffirms and recreates your old patterns.
Dr. Hanan, that doesn't sound so bad for some. I guarantee you there's some people listening to this right now going, yeah, I don't really want a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I want a slave. Because some people just want affirmation. They just want to feel good about themselves. They want to tell other people what to do. That's probably why their relationships are such a disaster in the real world. So if they can have a relationship with the ChatGPT that does all the things that you want it to do, for some people that's like, oh, this is great. Of course, it does them no good in the long run, right?
So for a lot of people, it might work to get calibrated and get that acknowledgement and affirmation. But ask everybody, well, how is it working for you? Are you happy in your relationship? Are you fulfilled in your sense of purpose? Are you financially secure? Do you feel free? Do you feel that you have a sense of responsibility and a great sense of purpose in your life? Because life is the great equalizer. You can have anybody tell you that you're doing amazing, but ultimately life is what's going to reaffirm whether you are or you're not. So ask yourself, are you happy in all those elements in your life, from financial security to a sense of purpose to your relationship to your health? Think about it. Like if you're unhealthy, you can have ChatGPT tell you that you're an Olympic athlete, but it's irrelevant because the life will just show you that you're not where you want to be. So ask yourself, am I where I want to be, or am I just being BS by the slave called ChatGPT?
Okay, so a Los Angeles woman apparently credited ChatGPT with saving her relationship by acting as a neutral advisor and mediator during arguments with her boyfriend. We don't know whether it doesn't say in the article, whether she was consulting ChatGPT with her boyfriend or whether she was just taking her boyfriend's statements and then asking ChatGPT to respond to them. I don't think the latter sounds very healthy, but let's just imagine they were doing it together. It raised all kinds of questions about the psychological implications of relying on AI for emotional support and conflict resolution. I mean, are there things that arguably ChatGPT would be better at than humans when it comes to advising us on how to react to each other and respond to each other's emotional cues?
Definitely. And I think when you remove the emotions out of a conversation, you can really find a way out of any conflict. It's the emotion that gets in the way, because the moment we become emotional, we get into this phase of what we call fight or flight. And when you're in a fight or flight, when your body is filled with adrenaline or cortisol, or your heart rate's up, all you're looking for is to win. And when you win, your partner loses. So ultimately the relationship loses. But when you remove emotion, you become very pragmatic, very logical about the solution. And what ChatGPT does is it just doesn't it doesn't care about your emotion. It doesn't understand your emotion. It doesn't understand what you're feeling. So it just looks at the facts. As long as you feed it with enough information and the correct information, it will spit out the correct facts. You might not agree with the facts, but the facts are the facts. So that's where I like to use ChatGPT when you're looking for pragmatic outcomes to conflicts where emotions just get in the way.
Well, listen to this. Super Juju says in the comments, I copy entire WhatsApp conversations into GPT for analysis, and it works great.
Oh, wow.
How's that?
Yeah, it's amazing. People do that for WhatsApp, but just be careful, especially when you rely on it too much as a therapeutic guide. Remember, large language models follow the tradition. And I've said it a couple of times on the show, in every area of existence, in every area of life, from technology to medicine, we've all seen an improvement over the last decade. We just keep on getting better and better. But therapy, for some reason, doesn't seem to be heading in the same direction. Depression is getting worse, anxiety is getting worse, suicide rates are getting worse, insecurity is getting worse. People are feeling less good enough. They're withdrawing more. So we seem to be getting worse. And if you are relying on a large language model to guide you that is based on these models that are making us worse, then what are you relying on?
Well, I think you've got to be honest, and that's where probably a lot of people fall off because they lie. They lie to ChatGPT, they lie to their friends, they lie to their therapist, they lie to themselves. If you're not going to be honest,
Completely.
no one can help you. Here's an interesting response from Kala. Kala van Westhuizen in the comments says, I've managed to completely neutralize a very toxic person by putting my responses through ChatGPT. I would highly recommend this.
Jeez.
That's interesting.
Yo.
Suppose that could be, again, when you're
That
clouded
could
by
be
emotion.
a complete game changer.
Yeah, you ask the ChatGPT, like, well, how should I respond to this message? Sometimes it'll give you some very good advice. You have to apply your own filters as well. And you don't just copy and paste what ChatGPT tells you, but that's fascinating.
Yeah, for sure. So again, give it data where I find, give it accurate data and give it a lot of data because it can really process things in a much better way, a much more, let's go robust, multi-layered way than you can. But give it a lot of information. And what I find ChatGPT really works great for is if you're looking for options. So imagine you have to confront your boss on something, and in your mind, you have kind of one way, one default position. You can ask ChatGPT with all the data to give you 5 different ways to confront your boss. Now, instead of your own way, now you've got 6 ways to confront your boss. Pick the one that is most relatable, most is something that resonates in a much better way for you.
No, I love it.
Dr. Hanan, have you ever been in a position where you've had to say to a patient, I believe that you could be in danger. You need to leave this relationship. And do you think ChatGPT would be in a position to do that and get somebody out of a dangerous situation? Because the last thing you want to do is to rile up a person who is already on the edge and might have violent tendencies. So, yeah.
For sure. One thing that new psychologists make the mistake is in assuming that they know. So you see a relationship, you realize maybe that the guy is being unjust or the girl's being unjust, and you call it and you say you should leave the marriage, not really understanding that the alternative might actually be worse. And ChatGPT can't figure out because it doesn't have the nuanced details of what the alternative is. So if you ask ChatGPT to make a call for you, and if the engineering or the prompting allows it to make a call for you, it might be making the wrong call because it's not actually taking into account, well, okay, you're leaving the marriage, but you also have kids. What about financial instability? Where are you going to move to? Practically, where are you going to go? You're going to back to your mom? What if your mom hates your kids? Now that creates a whole new array of issues down the line, which ChatGPT maybe perhaps can't question you on because of the prompting, where perhaps a therapist, a nuanced therapist, might be able to actually work out with you working out how the dominoes might fall down the line.
Yeah.
I just think it's very rude of Leigh-Ann when she has so many appointments with you already every week for her to also use the show to kind of crowbar her issues in here. I think it's just extremely selfish. All right. Listen, thank you, Dr. Hanan. We will see you in a week's time. Have an awesome first week of June. Ciao.
You too, guys. Bye.
Oh, there we are. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, that is nice. That's good. It's just after 7. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, got a whole lot more. Leigh-Ann Moll's here. James is back in the producer's seat along with Flex. And we want to hear from you. So join us on the YouTubes and join the comment section and get your word in. I promise you we see all of them. We ignore a lot of them, but we see all of them.
Makosa is expensive, so if Zara is doing it for cheap, why shouldn't we just buy from them?
When we came into the market, we made a statement that we are going straight into the luxury sector.
The Makosa brand made its mark internationally, and Laduma believes that its authenticity makes it what it is today.
So men can have orgasms without ejaculating. Men can also have multiple orgasms, and men can also have full body orgasms. So that sex is more about pleasure than about orgasm. And that's where we start getting men out of the idea of it's all about an orgasm.
Control
so for
yourself.
example, there's a practice called an expanded orgasm, which is about being in an orgasmic state. So a woman can be in an orgasmic state for over 2 or 3 hours. So just take a few breaths like that. If you focus your awareness during a sexual experience on this breath, immediately something in your body is going to start to change.
We might get orgasms, guys.
This word refugee, and people seem so attached to the idea that a refugee has to be a certain thing. You know, they've got an idea in their head of what a refugee looks like, of what a refugee's problems back home were, of what kinds of things justify them calling themselves that. There are people with I love that. All right, so that's the new look and feel of the show going forward. You're going to basically have me as a baby, making all the points that I usually would make and having conversations with interesting people. You'll just have to get used to the fact that you're then watching a baby. You're going to feel like a real idiot, but I don't care because the baby's going to do all the work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you love that?
I love that.
And I love the way it even pauses and breathes and everything else. So
amazing.
So welcome to the new look and feel for the Gareth Cliff show going forward. It's going to be a baby who tells you all
Just
the
a
stuff you want to
baby.
know. Yeah, I think it's great. I look so young.
Yeah, so young.
I love it. And the baby will obviously know all the things that I know, but it'll be a baby. So it's got all the time in the world ahead of it still. It's great.
Sure.
And we will eventually replace me with something like that. And you won't even know the difference. They took pictures of me in here the other day, like 360-degree pictures and all the rest. And they're going to be developing some sort of AI version, which will be...
It's just crazy.
No, I
man.
love it.
Wow.
I think it's so great because I could basically be... I'm sick today. I should be at home in bed.
Mm-hmm.
But you wouldn't know. I'd be in bed, but the show would carry on and you wouldn't know it's an AI.
Crazy.
Great, right?
Yeah, I worry about like the older generation. You know, someone.
No, you don't. You were just
feeling-
complaining about them on the wheelchair axis of the plane.
Thinking about like my mom.
Oh.
She sits and watches TV all day, and you've got to. She could believe something that was AI.
Oh,
she
sure.
wouldn't know the difference.
Oh, sure. But then how's that any different to all the fake news that we've had?
This is very true.
You know, so she'd be in the same position anyway. I said to my parents the other day, because I went and saw them and we were just talking generally. I said to them, you know, you need to stop watching the TV news.
Oh, 100%. It's
I don't watch the TV news. People asked me over the weekend, someone said to me, so what's happening? And I was like, with what? Is there something I should know? I watched some series this weekend.
Yeah.
I made some vegetable soup. I stayed in. I made fires. I have no idea what happened news-wise over the weekend. Someone said to me, "What's happening with our government?" This oak said to me, and I said, "I don't know. I think they're still there. I think it's still the same people."
So we've started to encourage my mom and taught her how to access, different platforms and find documentaries.
Yeah.
Watch nature documentaries. Watch architecture documentaries.
Oh my God, you could learn to play the guitar if you go on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? You can figure out really great ways to fill your day that don't have to involve bad news.
Mm-hmm.
And all this bad news does, and I know I don't want to harp on this for too long because we've discussed it before on the show. But why would you want to fill your head up with a whole bunch of negative, depressing stuff from all over the world that you can do nothing about, that's just going to make you feel worse.
It creates anxiety.
Why
really.
do it? Why? Why put yourself through that? Oh, 5 people were murdered in I don't know, Kazakhstan this weekend. And by the way, that's not a story, but it could be. What do you need to know that for? Who are you? Are you working for the security bureau that you need to know about security situations in Kazakhstan? You don't need to know that.
Is worrying about it going to help the situation?
It's going to make you old and grumpy and sad and anxious. You don't need that. Just ignore. Like, I really think news is overvalued. You only need to know about news in your own neighborhood. Like, oh, the power's going to be out this week. Or, there's a pothole on the road right at the entrance. Like, that's what you need to know. You don't need... What is it going to help for you to know that the G20 is happening in Durban? I mean, unless you're driving in Durban and you want to avoid traffic. But why would you need to know that? All these people are going to get together and talk to each other about shit that probably won't affect you. It's going to have downstream effects that will be watered down all the way by the time it gets to you. You don't need to know that. You don't need to know what the New Zealand Prime Minister said this week about cybersecurity, do you? Hell no. It's going to do nothing to your life. So just stop, because it is the quickest way to make your life better. And you're not going to miss out on anything. No one's going to go, oh, it's so embarrassing. Leigh-Ann didn't know about the Guatemalan situation. And then Leigh-Ann's like, what Guatemalan situation? They go, she doesn't know anything. I'm embarrassing.
Not very well read, that Leigh-Ann.
What a stupid person. What an ignorant person Leigh-Ann is, because she doesn't know about the Guatemalan situation.
But also, I've been on drugs for so long now that I don't know. I'm only kidding.
You are. You and Elon Musk, heavy drugs.
Heavy drugs.
Yeah, but please, let's just stop with this you need to know what's in the news thing.
Yeah.
And if you ever bump into me anywhere, don't ask me. I know shit. I don't know anything. I only know what we talk about on this show and what comes up from time to time in my feed. And I'm not following that many journalists. I don't find them valuable. I don't think there's stuff there that I need to know about. If there is some kind of breakthrough, I saw the story the other day that there's some apocalypse that's heading our way in 2027. Normally, the old me would have gone straight to that article and read, like, what is the apocalypse? What's going to happen? The me of now just scrolled right by. I'm like, I don't want to know about that shit. If there's going to be an asteroid or there's going to be a pandemic or something else, I'll deal with it when it comes.
But also, we've been told falsely so many times that those things are going to happen.
Oh, hell yeah.
And they don't.
I mean, I'm still pissed off, to be honest, with David Koresh, with that whole, the comet that was going to pick us all up.
Oh.
Remember that?
Yes.
That never happened. I was like, dude, I was ready. I had my sleeping bag.
It was Y2K back
Remember?
in the day.
Yeah. There was Y2K. I thought that when we clicked over to the year 2000, everything was going to just
break.
Yeah, it was going to spaz out. We wouldn't know what to do. All the machines would stop working. You remember that? Well, that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just taken a much more laissez-faire approach to apocalypses.
Because when that asteroid does come hurtling towards you, what are you going to do?
Nothing. Zero. There's nothing you can do. People are so afraid of things that they can't control. And the only things you need to be afraid of are the things you can control that you don't do anything about. Really, like the stuff that you can't control, what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. You think if there is an asteroid, for example, what you're going to put up you're going to hop on your private plane and fly into the upper atmosphere so that you don't get taken out by this thing? Please.
Yeah, it's difficult to switch those anxieties off. I mean, you look at a mother, for instance. She's going to worry her entire life about her children.
Sure.
And, you can say, what good is it going to do about you worrying about me being on this flight? But you can't take it away from some people. They just have it.
They like to worry. Mm-hmm. Some people really like to worry. I'm not one of those people, just by the way. All right, so let's get into some other stuff. James, do you want to tell us what happened in the world of sport? James is back. He said something about Sundowns happened. What was that about Sundowns last night? They had a shit night, or they Okay, so we'll find out all about that. I can't help you on this because, again, I'm not really paying attention. I need people like James to tell me about what's happening in the world of sport. All right, and by the way, Ben will probably be back this Friday as well. So it's back
Where's
to normal.
he been?
Ben was in Scotland playing golf.
Oh, wow.
No. He's got lots of stuff to update us on. Seems like he had a proper adventure there. I met a whole lot of Scotsmen on Saturday night. They were playing rugby in Pretoria, right? I met a whole bunch of Scottish guys. They were like big fucking burly Scottish men.
We were sitting having a drink at the resort where we were staying, and there were these two Scotsmen behind us. And my mum was only picking up the swearing because they were potty-mouthed.
Oh, yeah?
And she said, woo, choice language. I said,
Does she
Mum,
know how you talk?
I said,
I mean, really?
Well, and I got it from her. I leaned forward and I said, Mum, they're Scottish. She went, oh, oh, that's fine.
Yeah. There were a bunch of these guys. I think they played against one of our teams in Pretoria. And I was out with some friends and started talking to them. They're like, you don't sound like you're South African. Are you English? So I said, no. And then, I mean, with one of them, I think I tried to do a Scottish accent or something, and that didn't work so well.
Anyway,
he didn't like that. He thought I was mocking him.
It's so niche.
But all his friends liked it, and everybody laughed, and then my friends laughed, and so everybody had a good time except this one sour, thistle-assed, carrot-faced Scot. Everyone else was fine.
How do you really feel?
Yeah. He really was. He was a misery. You could just tell.
My uncle that I saw this past week in Mpumalanga is actually Scottish.
Oh, yeah?
Still got the very, very thick accent.
Does he sound like that?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very
How
thick
much of
accent.
him do you understand?
So little, especially when he drinks.
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, it becomes very confusing. Love the sense of humor, though.
Come over here, Jims. I've got a few questions for you. Haven't seen you in a long time.
The other half of the family is
Yeah?
Australian. So
Oh my
there's a lot
God.
of accents flying around.
Wow.
This week there was
It's
a lot.
an interesting combo,
Yeah.
that.
And then again, once you throw alcohol in the mix, the accents just become a mix of
So how many of you
discombobulation.
people got together this week?
Sure, a bunch of us.
Was it like 20? Was it 30, 40?
35,
Sure.
40 of us, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of you.
It's a long week, that's what it was.
Oh.
But we're here.
All right. Very
we're here
good.
to do the sport,
All right, tell us
guys.
what's up in the sport. Go.
Sundowns fucked it, is what I said
What did they do?
earlier.
What happened?
They played the CAF Champions League final
Yes.
this weekend. They were 1-1 on aggregate with Pyramids.
Right.
They played the second leg last night in Egypt, and they lost 2-1 in that game, which
Terrible.
means they lost the CAF Champions League. Another sad weekend because football is officially over. The Champions League final was also this weekend. That is the...
Don't threaten me with a good time. What do you mean football's officially over?
The season's over. So the Champions League final
How long?
basically...
And when did? Let me guess. They start the new season next week.
Yeah.
Well, the Club
Tuesday.
World Cup starts in 2 weeks. So
Yeah, there we
There
go.
you go.
But the Champions League basically is it marks the end of the world football season. That was this weekend. PSG played Inter Milan 5-0 to PSG, which is a huge scoreline for the Champions League final. PSG winning their first Champions League ever. And then the Club World Cup starts, like I said, in 2 weeks. Sundowns, our very own Sundowns, are going to be there.
The ones that you just said have screwed everything up.
But they're going to be playing against the best of the best in the
That's
world.
what I like about you, James. You break people down and then you build them back
That's
up
what
again.
I'm about.
Oh, that's
you
good.
know?
Yeah.
It's character building is
Yeah,
what it is.
sure.
So yes, Club World Cup, 32 teams, a bigger format this year. And it's being held in the US, so it's going to be the Soccer Club World Cup. The United Rugby Championships. Have you guys ever heard of penalties in a rugby game?
Yeah.
That happened this weekend.
Of course there are penalties in
First time
rugby.
I've ever seen it in my life.
What are you? Honestly, I know nothing about sport and I know about that.
Penalties in a rugby game is crazy. I might
Sure.
watch rugby now.
Okay, well, I honestly thought this was common knowledge, but there we go.
So just okay,
Anyone
but
who
maybe
wants
it's
to
just me.
abuse James on that front on the comment
fair.
section, go for it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
To be fair, so the Sharks went to penalties in their game this weekend, which was wild. Didn't know that they did that in rugby, and all they do is kick it over the post. They take a few turns, they move back, they take a few turns again.
I know, it's so revolutionary.
So the semi-finals have been decided for the Rugby Championship, Leinster taking on Glasgow, and then the two South African teams, the Bulls versus the Sharks, is the other semi-final. There was also a Spanish Grand Prix this weekend. McLaren doing what McLaren needed to do. They finished 1 and 2. Piastri cementing his place in number 1 with Lando right behind him. The log for the F1 is exactly the same. It's Piastri, Norris, and then Verstappen. The Red Bull's falling behind a little bit, but they're still in the mix. Red Bull gives you wings, and they'll do what they need to. And that is the sport for the last week.
All right. So Bitcoin Bot says, Gareth, is this your sports guy?
Unfortunately.
It's Ben from Temu on Mondays.
One of, yeah.
Penalties after extra time if scores are equal. Hubba says, all in caps. So
I had no idea.
There we go, James. James makes spelling bee sound cuck in sport.
That's fair.
What's the fuss about Jaden winking in the Sharks game? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, there was like they said Jaden was playing mind games. He pretended to have cramp so that the other kicker had to wait longer to do his kick to get into his head and that whole thing.
I'm sorry I even asked that question because I don't care about that answer.
A little bit of mind games.
He means to decide the match, I think. That's what Carl says. Again, I don't know. These people, it's almost like it's like I have to go in there. No, I have to arm myself. I have to put on a backpack and gumboots and then go into the comment section, knowing that there's going to be all kinds of shit going on. It's like a war zone in there. It really is. So apparently the Ukrainians took out a couple of key Russian military sites over the weekend, drones and all kinds of other things. They really caught them unawares. Even as far as Siberia, the Ukrainians got to. So Vladimir Putin not having a great Monday. Imagine him sitting there going, fuck.
This Monday shit.
Yeah. What a terrible shit Monday.
It's a shit
and
Monday.
not like this.
I've seen so many videos on TikTok this week of these drones that the Ukrainians are using.
Yeah.
And they actually just fly them into a tank or like onto
Dude, there's a whole
UAV
YouTube
thing.
channel
Wild.
of just all the tanks that they're taking
Wild,
out, right?
wild.
And by the
Are
way,
they
this is
armed drones?
so. This is what I've got. You know, I was talking about how my parents. I'm trying to stop them. I'm weaning them off the news.
Yes.
So, luckily, my dad has discovered these tank busting drones. I mean, he was watching like for half an hour the other day. I said, "What's going on here?" Oh no, this is just the Ukrainians taking out some Russian tanks. But he watched it for half an hour. He loves that.
So fascinating.
Hey, you see them blowing these things up from a distance, and these drones just come in, and the tank has no chance. I mean, there's literally this enormous explosion, and the gun tower goes off this way, and then
Wow.
it's fantastic.
It's one where it looked like the tank was trying to get away from the drone.
Oh, they do.
Drone just
They're
came
trying to
in from the
drive
back.
really fast out of the way, and then the drone just takes it out anyway. It's great.
I think it's cool. And then they said something about fiber optic drones, fiber optic run.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how that works, but apparently there's also like these.
Oh, what a
fancy
time to
fiber
be
optic
alive, huh?
drones. Very interesting.
It really is. And I just can't wait till I have that technology in my car. And someone, like this morning on the way into work, someone tries to cut in the traffic, and you just launch your drones and blow them up out of the fucking road. That's what I
think
want.
it's more likely that the thing that I've wanted to happen for decades
What?
will happen, and that's being able to say things like "sorry," "thank you."
That's boring. I prefer my blowing up the car in front with a drone. What's wrong with you? You really think saying, "Oh, sorry, thank you, didn't mean to indicate left. I actually meant to indicate right."
Indicator's broken.
Oh.
On my way. Sorry, small flat tire going slowly. Surely that should happen first before you're launching drones.
You won't use it for that. I know you. You get road rage. You're very foul
No,
mouthed.
the rule is it won't allow you to do that sort of thing.
Oh, nonsense. You'll say, "Tell that driver behind me to fuck off," and
So
it will.
I
pitch up in
every
your back
day
window.
to get home, I stop at a T junction,
Yeah.
and my driveway is as if the T junction went on straight.
Right.
So I don't indicate left and I don't indicate right because I'm going straight.
Right.
Technically,
And do people hoot at you?
people hoot at me because they don't know which way I'm going. So it would just be going straight. Thank you.
You know, some people think that by putting an L in your back window, people will be nicer to you.
Yeah, I've heard that some people
That's
are leaving their
horseshit,
L's
though.
on for longer
No,
than
when
they should.
I see an L, I'm even meaner. I'm like, "Oh, you're one of those, are you?"
I'm in their boot. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah. I'm like, hooting at them.
No, man.
Oh, yes, I do. I try to make them as nervous as possible because I'm like, come on, that's so embarrassing. I don't think when I was learning to drive, I would let anyone put the L in the window.
It was humiliating to have the L in our day.
Yes.
How many attempts did it take you guys to get your driver's licenses? One.
It did take me 2 because, yeah, it's a long story.
But our
got a
learners'
bit abusive.
books we used to cut the L out of the back in cardboard and put that onto our.
Yeah.
And it was so embarrassing. Now I'm hearing, and also, again, working with younger people, I'm hearing the girls talk about before they leave, I'm so nervous I've got to drive home. Because they're only 18.
Oh,
And
okay.
leaving a learner sign on for longer than is necessary.
If you leave your learner's sign on and you think that's going to get you sympathy, you better not meet me and Leigh-Ann and James, because you're going to have a terrible day.
Gen X is gonna make your life hell.
Gen
if you
X
do
is just
that.
so mean, right? And you're not even Gen X, but you're also mean. I think we've indoctrinated you. I saw this thing the other day about how Generation Alpha or whatever it is, that's the one after Gen Z, they've decided that it's just really unfair that they have to work at all.
Okay.
They're like,
Sorry.
why should I work? That is so mean of the world. Why would the world want me to work? They're like, this is a punishment.
This is going to be interesting.
What did I do wrong? So get ready, everybody. If you're gonna try and hire someone from that generation, you're in for a world of pain.
Because when they're hireable,
Yeah.
we'll be the equivalent of boomers, but that's
Oh yeah.
we're going to be grumpy as fuck
Oh, yeah.
with them.
So
Whoa.
it's just they consider all work a punishment.
Okay, but then, like, if you don't work, guys, you can't afford your little, like, Starbucks thing that you...
Correct.
Yeah,
So
and
there's going to
also,
be
how
a lot of
about-
unhappiness.
Exactly.
Let's put it that way.
How about getting into your work so that you can actually enjoy it? Live and find out more. No, I'm really
No.
sounding old.
They don't want to do that. They just want to have holidays and travel and just have someone put money in their account every month like their parents have been for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be fun. Don't hire them. That's all I can... all I'll suggest from the outset is if you have to hire one of these alpha generation people, see if there aren't other alternatives before you do. Just see if you
say
can't
hi
hire
first.
someone a little bit older maybe. Or someone from a very, very bad war zone country who'd be prepared to do anything. Aren't they now making wooden drones that are undetectable, says Roxanne? Wooden drones? Really? Okay. They might be out of, like, plywood. You could make that fly.
It still needs a mechanical element, though.
But not like nails and pine.
That's what I
no
was
one's going to be
thinking
making drones out
Flying
of that.
pine
Yeah.
cones.
When I see an L, I welcome them to Gauteng driving. Want to drive slow? Go to Cape Town.
Speaking of Gauteng driving,
Yes.
the people in Nelspruit and Mpumalanga, that's a terrifying place to drive.
But the roads are good.
Very true. I
The
expected
roads
more
are
potholes.
phenomenal.
Let
Very
me tell you
true.
something. I have always maintained that the worst drivers in Gauteng are not from Gauteng. If you look at the number plates of the people who drive the very worst, it's Limpopo, Mpumalanga,
100%.
Northwest.
It's so scary. They don't know how to use traffic
No,
circles.
they have no idea. It's like Lagos. You just do whatever you want.
But the roads are good. A tiny town of Hazy View. We
I
arrived
told you, just clean your glasses.
on the Friday, and they were retarring this main road, a massive strip. By the time we unpacked and settled down and drove back to the shop a day later, they were done.
Wow.
Jeez, like,
There's
in
a
charge of-
hole in my brother's driveway, so it's a municipality's issue, that has exploded, and there's water flooding through his property and to his tenants. It's now become a water feature. It's been going for so many days that we feel like it's a water feature.
Put goldfish in it yet?
We might as well.
Yeah.
Do you think anyone's come to fix
No,
it?
hell no.
No, they couldn't on Saturday because why?
because it's Saturday and they had lunch or something.
No, because they were being fumigated,
Oh.
the officers.
Joburg has probably been run so badly in the last 5 years that I don't even know whether there is anyone in charge. I don't know if there is a person that the buck stops here, you know? Even that guy Dada Morero, who we had on the show a while ago, I think he's mayor or whatever. He said the other day, you can't blame me. He's trying to blame the people who ran the city before he came along. It's unbelievable. Anyway, the fiber optic drones use fiber optic wire to control the drones so the enemy can't detect radio signals. That's what you're talking about,
very
James.
interesting. Okay.
Very good. Use your emergency flashes. Listen, can I just say that I don't know who it is in South Africa that taught really dumb people that if you press that emergency triangle, that suddenly all is forgiven. I've always had a major problem with that. Like dumb people who should not be driving a car, who've got no business operating heavy machinery in the first place. They press that button and it's like please forgive me for everything I'm about to do that's very, very stupid. Right?
Yeah.
I think it just gives you permission.
Well, it
to
means so many things. It means thank you. It means
sorry.
It means I'm stopping. It means I'm slowing down.
It means I got a fucking low IQ is what it means.
It's now come to mean too many things.
Yeah, it's like,
which is why we need my sign thing in
all
neon.
right. Well, you go ahead and invent it. You don't need permission. Make it. It's called the Leigh-Ann Mole Better Driving app and billboard for the back window of your car.
Sounds like the name of one of those dodgy churches.
Well, those work very well. Have you seen how much money they're making? Go on.
You could. I don't know if you guys have seen those taxis now that have branding on them. They've got digital LED.
Yes.
Screens on the rear.
Yes.
Why don't you get one of those?
There's that, and then have you noticed that some taxis now have some kind of decoration or adornment?
Oh yeah.
In the form of a spade.
What?
I've actually seen a taxi. I thought it was for emergency use or if you get stuck in a hole.
Yeah.
No, it's just decoration.
What, on the inside?
No, like if I'm the last person at the back of the taxi in the right-hand corner and the window's open, I would see some of the spade over here. It's like the most bizarre accessories that are being added.
I think you're making this
no,
up. I think it's the drugs.
I'm not.
I think it's the drugs from your operation.
Please, someone.
talking.
This
that
time
hazy view.
I welcome the comments, really, because it's happening
All
in
right,
the
let's
Four Ways
see.
area. 100%.
Spades.
Spades, and then there were some other strange objects, but I'm not 100% sure what they were.
To be fair, the potholes are so deep these days, you might need.
Oh,
Just-
Bitcoin But says the spade is there for when you need to go and take a cuck next to the road.
Oh, no.
Yes, I could believe that. People doing a bus cuck. Yeah.
But the thing
To
is,
bosche in the Latini.
they're bolted on there. You can't take them off.
I've never seen this, Leigh-Ann. I genuinely
Okay.
think that you're hallucinating.
It's all the drugs.
But you and Elon Musk, it's a big problem.
that ketamine problem you have.
Have you tried a big ass bull bar so that no one is willing to trade paint with you? I think we're going to slowly get to the stage in Joburg. I mean, Joburg is it's a hard place, right? People here are tough. And to get to the stage where forget about my drone launcher and your happy, hi, so sorry about that sign in the back window. I think we're just going to have big bulldozer things, like in Mad Max. We're just going to lift and push the car out of the way eventually.
Oh, those blades,
Yeah, and
those
you
spinning saws
and
that come out.
you'll grade your own road home. You'll just go through other people's houses, because the road will be the potholes will be so big. Oh, okay, sorry, I need to get to that shop over there. I'm just going to go through this guy's house. And you'll just bulldoze his house out of the way. That's what we're going to end up doing. I can see Joburg being very Mad Max that way.
I'm looking forward to this very apocalyptic future.
Post-apocalyptic. But I don't think we'll think about it as post-apocalyptic. We'll just be Joburg people making a
vibes.
plan.
Yeah.
We'll be like, this is how we do
vibes.
stuff now.
And our mindset will be like, it's just gotten worse, hey? And that's where we'd be.
I'm going to go. I need you know what, honey, I feel like a coffee. I'm going to go out and get a coffee quickly. Do you want anything? Yeah, just bring me a coffee as well. Okay. You get into your bulldozer and you just like push the neighbor's children into the fucking river. You just drive, knock over a few street lights on the way because they're not working anyway. So what are they doing there? And then there'll be a huge pothole, so you'll go around that. Then there'll be some jogger, and you could take them out for extra points. Cyclists, all of that kind of stuff. I think we could have real adventures here.
Have you guys seen the really early morning running clubs that have started now also in the winter?
Are you kidding?
With the
This
headlights?
morning, some chick ran past me. I almost hit her with the car because she wasn't wearing anything reflective. She didn't have a light or anything with it. I just hear this, and I look and I think, what the hell?
He's breathing down my
She
neck.
literally came around the corner, and thank God I was going slowly. But come on, you runners are you're looking for shit. Wait till that bulldozer comes. I'll load 10 of you up at a time and just dump you over the fence. Anyway. All right, Slippery Pickle says you need a bull bar. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at here. These early morning runners make me sick, says Slippery Pickle. Mapello says, it's not a real spade, though. It's just a decoration.
Yes.
This is what he's saying. That's what Leigh-Ann said. Mapello, calm down, man. Yes, sis.
At least I'm getting some support. A little
Can you
bit.
imagine Simpiwe's laugh as she bashes over a few cars? Oh, yeah, she'd love that. I've seen taxis with cup holders bolted to the outside to keep it cold.
There you go. There's another one.
There's one with the spade.
No, look at that.
There's a spade.
You weren't lying.
You weren't kidding.
I promise you. The one I saw was further back. It was near the back
What is
wheel.
this all about?
Apparently, it's decoration.
Come on, that's not a good enough answer.
I need to know more.
That's not a good enough
I don't
answer.
have the
Sorry.
answers.
Some taxis have a bicycle bracket. Leigh-Ann is right. I've seen those.
That almost sounds practical. Bicycle brackets, cup holder to keep cool
On the outside.
on the outside.
and then Bitcoin Bot says, how did you hear her breathing? Was your window open in winter? Yes. I was driving in and I thought, let me get some fresh air. Opened the window and then luckily I heard this woman and then she came running past. But I'll tell you what, these runners have got to look out because on the cold winter's mornings, you're not going to see them.
No, we're avoiding too many other things.
You know, your windscreen gets all fogged up by the heater.
There are cats running around, potholes,
Oh.
wastepreneurs, homeless people,
Cats,
drunk people,
potholes, wastepreneurs.
fucking beggars. It's too much. We can't avoid the joggers too.
Someone's going to die.
Something's got to be
Something's got to give. There's only your car's only this wide. It's got to go somewhere. Sorry,
Cats, wastepreneurs.
pigeons, fucking everything.
Oh, my God. All right, so I see that we're calling this episode 946.
Are we?
Yeah, so, I mean, does that mean we've got 50-odd shows to get to 1,000?
Correct.
Ah, okay, well, we must do something special for the 1,000. Maybe we'll do it from space.
I'm down.
You know, something fun like that.
We'll be ridiculed forever.
Okay,
It's like Katy Perry.
the joggers are the same as vegans in my book. Yeah, probably. Runners down in the mines, absolutely.
In Bryanston, they run around at obviously up early for the show. It's still dark. They run around in this whole group of them. They've got their little headlights and they're all in a group and in formation.
So I thought about this, right? I thought, sure, if I really wanted to hate myself, and I don't, but let's just say I was one of those people who goes to see Dr. Hanan every week, and I really hated myself, I would start running now in winter.
At 5 a.m, yeah.
Yeah, and
become vegan at the same time.
No, so I had this fantasy after I almost hit this runner, I suddenly thought, you got to do hard things in your life. What kind of punishment would be worse for me than waking up even earlier? Because you guys are up at the same time for like 4:30 or whatever. Imagine me waking up at 3:30, putting on sneakers, going for a run at 3:30 in the morning.
Ain't gonna
Imagine,
happen.
and then having a shower, getting dressed, and coming in to do the show. Like that would be that. I think that would be hell.
It would.
I don't imagine my life would be unlivable.
You'd feel pretty good after the run.
I'd
runners are
I'd
gonna
run
tell
straight
you.
for a car. I'd say just take me, Jesus.
You'd start running on the
Aim
highway.
for the middle of the two lights approaching you.
Yes, I would go on the highway in the fast lane in an opposite direction to traffic. And just wait for the Lord to
Or
take
just keep
me.
running right off the bridge.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's what I would do. But there are people who love it.
And they're the ones who are going to tell you, Gareth, do it for a month and you're going to feel on top of the world. I'll tell you that.
I went to gym every day last week, and I felt so good at the end of the week. I felt so good. And then got fucking head cold now. So I'm going to go today. I don't care. If I have a heart attack, you'll know what happened. I'm not stopping. But I'm not going to start running.
At least you're going this afternoon and not this morning at 5 a.m, though.
No.
Makes sense.
There's no need. Why? I mean, we've got to move the show to later in the day,
I agree.
too. So we've got to do that
agree,
at some
man.
point.
Yeah.
The Real Network, do all viewers get a car-mounted spade for the 1,000 show? Yeah,
Oh,
maybe
there we
that's a good
go.
idea. We'll give you a spade to mount on your car. Yeah, that's cool. We missed you, Leigh-Ann Mole, says Max
Oh,
Sony.
thank you.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, we did actually. I sold a Thule bicycle bracket on Marketplace. On a collection, I demonstrated how it worked, and he stopped me to say, no need to explain, it's only for decoration. I'm not a cyclist. See, so people are putting things on their car. Why would you want people to think you might have been a cyclist, though?
Well, that you're some active type,
Ugh.
like a mountain biker.
Yeah. Hopefully the 1,000 show doesn't land on a Monday when we all get Temu Sports updates.
I'll be here either way, whatever day it's on.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. All right, well, don't worry, James. Don't take that personally. I still think cyclists are worse than joggers by a mile, pun intended. Are they?
Yes, I agree.
What do you think?
I agree. I think it's a lot of think bike, but not think car. I'm down to think about the bike,
Yeah.
and I get where it's coming from. But also the bike never really thinks about the car.
Listen, the only people who are a law unto themselves are not even the cyclists or the joggers or the courier companies. It's those Checkers 60/60 guys. Yes, they are
Crazy.
Absolutely out of control.
Shame, but they apparently get fined. If
Oh no,
they're
they
late.
it's a horrible life. Let's just put it that way. It's a horrible life. It's tough as nails. I don't think any of them have any kind of insurance. Like if something
Yeah.
happens to your bike,
I was
you
in the emergency room. Why was I there?
well, you just had
Other
the hip
hip
operation.
No, I slammed. Remember, I slammed my finger in the back of hinge of a door.
Oh,
So I was in the
yes,
ER.
I do remember that. Yeah.
And there was a Checker 60/60 guy who came in holding his helmet and looking very sad
Oh no.
and limping. And they said to him, insurance? And he said, no. And they said, what about your employer? And he just pointed to his label and he said, no.
Oof. Well, 3 of them tore past me the other day. And I was like, is there a race that's going on that I don't know about? They are totally a law unto themselves.
Yeah.
It's very scary.
Yeah,
But
I
it's just-
suppose there's pressure, though, for them to be on time,
of course.
right?
It's just,
True.
yeah. Are we going to drive people to death just because of our need for a pawpaw at 11 o'clock? You know?
Well, Bitcoin Boot reckons all these scooter drivers are from outside of South Africa. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think a lot of them are.
You do pick
but
up different accents every now and then, but I think
I had Jesus come and
largely-
drop off something.
Sorry.
Yeah, Jesus.
Jesus dropped something off for me the other day.
Congrats.
You know, I've had to use Uber for the past 3 weeks. So
Yes, 'cause you
the
can't
amount
drive.
of names that I've got.
Jesus.
Oh, hilarious.
My app said, Jesus is arriving in 1 minute. And I was like, that's amazing.
There is a second
It's
coming,
finally
and it's
happening.
now.
And it's happening to me. I was like, oh, how special do I feel? Meanwhile, he was just bringing me a, I don't know, takeaway or
I had
something.
my first female Uber driver the other day. And
Oh,
then,
come on. You
No,
haven't had one of
promise
those
you.
before?
So weird.
Really?
Never. I said to her, "You finally my first female driver." Very next day, female driver.
Damn. I once had an Uber driver show up in a car, which threw me off quite a lot. Not an Uber driver, an Uber
A
Eats
delivery.
driver.
Yeah, no, they do that too.
That threw me off quite a bit, actually. It's not what I was
What
expecting.
I find funny is that they often say to you that there's a car coming, but it's a bike. Or they say it
Yeah.
looks like a bike, but
Yeah.
it's a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys got to make your minds up. But listen, what a great time to be alive again. You don't have to go to the shops for shit anymore.
Something that we can rest easy on.
Yeah?
Again, speaking to the Australian family and how their side
Yes.
of the world works. I was explaining to them how Czech is kind of mandated to do their 60-minute delivery thing within 60
Right.
minutes. In Australia, they don't actually have a service like this. You order in the morning, and it only arrives like late afternoon vibes, apparently. It's not
Because
a
there
immediate
probably
thing.
so
that
many
Aunt Thelma's
laws.
already died of starvation because they didn't bring the stuff early. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we ordered that stuff the other day from that supermarket in Sydney. Yeah, we did. Has it arrived yet? Nah, it's about 8 weeks and counting.
But the thing is they have driverless trains though, and that's what my
Yeah.
friend in assisted passenger section said in Australia.
Another person in an assisted passenger section.
No, I did tell.
I thought you had
mention
a
her
friend,
earlier.
but you see, because I don't know, you said explicitly that they park you like your friends.
Friends, yes.
But Now you're talking about her as your friend, so I thought, it must be another cripple friend. And you're building up a catalogue here.
No, I promise. But it was so weird when we were away in the bush. We decided on a whim to not make for dinner what we were going to make.
Yeah.
And rather get a takeaway or something.
Okay.
Because of our schedules changed.
Sure.
Picked up the phone, ready to order a pizza. There's no service there. There's no Mr. D. There's nothing like that.
No, I don't. There's some parts of South Africa where you won't get an Uber. Forget about it. See, this is why you've got to live in the city, but not in the city.
You've got to get away to the bush or something where it's
Well,
a bit of a leveler.
I went away 4 weeks ago. There's no signal there at all. Fuck, it was nice. You don't check your phone. You're ready. It's there to take pictures, and I suppose you could use it for music, and that's really it. And even music, you can't unless you've downloaded the songs. You don't have them.
Yeah.
And I didn't miss it at all. It was so fantastic.
You realize how much light pollution there actually is?
Yeah. I mean, you could see stars everywhere, and the first thing you do when you go to sleep at night. In my case, anyway, it might not be true for everybody, but last thing I do when I go to sleep at night is I make sure I've answered all my messages and check the calendar for the next day, what's going on, all that stuff. And then when you wake up, first thing you do is look at your phone.
Or it wakes you up.
Yeah, and you don't do that when you're in a place like that. You just wake up when your body says it's time to wake up.
Love it. That's
awesome.
Exactly what we did. And also, it needs to get to the point where you're not kind of sure what day of the week it is.
Yeah, also. Yeah.
Oh.
So you know it's a holiday.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, I don't want to rain on your parade here. I am one of those people who after 3 to 4 days of holiday, I'm ready for getting back to schedule.
But is it depending on where you go, like whether it's
no,
like the beach or the
anyway,
bush? Or...
even if I go overseas after 4 days, I'm ready to come back and work. I have to. Obviously, you don't book a 4-day holiday if you're going away with people, but then it takes me a little while to get over that. And okay, now I'll just start another 4-day cycle of holiday because I really like being at home. I really like work. I like coming in to do the show. Yeah. This is the kind of it's part of what I do. So it feels to me like I'm being lazy.
Yeah, it feels like that, but also. My brother kept saying to me, Leigh-Ann, please just settle. I can't sit still. I've got to be doing something.
No wonder you needed 2 new hips. You're rattling like a baby's rattle the whole time.
Just sit down. Just sit down. Sit somewhere. Sit somewhere just for longer than half an hour.
All right. 60/60 also doesn't deliver in townships because of xenophobia, says B. Is that right? Sure. They earn more the more they deliver, and they're mostly foreigners. Apparently, the South African people don't want to work so hard. They can earn up to 30 grand, but they have to hustle. My theory, says Bitcoin Bud, is the big companies don't want to train local drivers from scratch, so they outsource to countries where they already have drivers who can drive scooters.
But you can just buy a license in South Africa.
Yeah, I mean, what? Bitcoin Bud. Don't you know how the traffic department works?
Is this your first
You obviously haven't got a bulldozer yet. You need one of those too. Last thing I do at night is smoke a bong, says Patrick. Well, you know what?
Shout
to
out
each
to
his
you,
own.
man.
Yeah, you
Shout
go
out to
ahead,
you.
dude. I can imagine nothing worse.
Yeah, no.
I when I'm not social, the last thing I feel like doing is drinking or partying or indulging in any of that. No, indulging in any of that shit. The last thing I want is Sundays, especially for me, are just days to be absolutely lazy and do nothing that requires manual work at all.
Even lifting a glass.
Oh yeah, that's too much. I just go to the edge of the table and kind of knock the glass over and let it dribble into my. I work in the bush up in Hoedspruit. Would definitely recommend a trip that way via Machubas Kloof, says Chade. Okay, Gareth, you live alone every day, so every day is like a holiday. That's why you're happy to leave holiday and go home. That's probably true. You know, actually, that's exactly right. looking at the dog yesterday, and she was snoring away. And I thought, yeah, you actually have the best life of every creature that's ever lived. This is the most spoilt dog of all time. She gets fed twice a day. She sleeps wherever the hell she wants. She has a big garden to go and bark at things. And she can
She gets
shit
to see her
anywhere.
cousins.
She gets to see the rest of the family dogs. She's got like the best life ever. She doesn't have to do anything. She's like those Gen Alphas who doesn't want to work. She doesn't have to work.
Look what you've done to her, Gareth.
I'm a helicopter parent.
You've raised a Gen Alpha dog.
All right, I'm in a bit of a pickle. I wake and bake, but want to visit Mauritius. I'll probably have to make edibles I can travel with.
Oh, so my brothers reminded me we're going to Bali next month.
Ooh.
For a family wedding.
Oh.
It's one of those trips where you've got to take like 4 flights to get there.
Yeah.
And most of it's like Egyptian Airlines or
Oh,
something.
my God.
Ethiopian.
Oh, yeah. No, they're very good, hey?
No, but they're dry. They're all dry flights.
Oh, so you can't drink.
Wait, but even the flight to Mpumalanga is not a dry flight, actually, which is
No,
weird.
it's not.
That's 30 minutes.
But do you
can
need
have
to...
a glass
No,
of wine.
hang on. Do you guys need to drink on planes?
No.
No, I sometimes need to calm my nerves a bit.
I do need to have a 9 a.m. beer at an airport. I have this
No.
theory.
Why?
Okay, so
Breakfast beers when on holiday.
in an airport, time zones don't exist. Okay,
Oh.
you'll see that person sleeping there for their 10th hour.
Oh.
I can have a 9 a.m. beer. So most of the time when I'm at the airport, and most of the time it's pretty early in the morning, I'll have a beer.
Yeah, but also associate that with Europe because you do get
just can't imagine
specific breakfast beers that you have with your whatever pastry bake it
It's
is.
quite pleasant, actually.
I don't ever want to drink on a plane. I mean, I've had, like a glass of champagne if it's a special occasion or you're flying somewhere cool or you're with people you want to celebrate with or whatever. But that's one glass. I'm not going to get sloshed on a plane.
No, not getting sloshed, but I would want to have like a nice glass of wine with whatever I'm having, especially if I'm feeling nervous. I'm not the world's best flyer.
They just knock you out like they used to do with B.A. Baracus from the A-Team. Whenever they needed to
Yes.
fly anywhere, they just knock him out. They'd like take a sledgehammer to his head
That's
or
why
whatever.
we
And
need
then
the
like
spade.
medicate him.
What?
That's why we need the spade.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Ka-tang.
that's what we need a spade for. Very good point. Please don't bring drugs to Bali. Some Aussie is facing a potential death sentence for that now, says Anton. Yeah, don't even take a chance, dude.
Super careful. I've even been keeping my medication boxes because you've got to take everything in the original packaging.
Ooh. Yeah.
And it's quite interesting. Apparently, if you are, a new thing is that if you are menstruating, you can't visit the temples. So that'll be interesting. I'd like to know how they'd know.
I was going to ask you, how would they?
Well, they have a little man, and he walks around.
Very short man.
And he runs around with a stick, and he just lifts women's dresses and has a look. That's his whole job. His name is Timothy.
Timothy, the tampon finder.
And he's a little pervert, horrible little man. But that's who it is.
I'm picturing him looking like an
Yeah.
Oompa Loompa, actually.
I hid Jamaican, bought brownies on the cruise ship in the kitchen freezer for 3 months. You guys have got problems, hey? You and Elon, like you're all heavily abusing drugs. This is a big problem. Huge Erection says, is there such a thing as nice when on an airplane, especially in cattle class? No. You said a nice glass of wine.
Yeah, I think I might be confusing these flights with the business class flights that I've taken in the past to go overseas.
Yeah, but that's nice that you're going on a little holiday. You said it's a
It's
wedding.
the first time to Bali. For
Yeah,
me.
I've never been there either.
It is for a family wedding. For Australians, so they're right near Bali.
Oh, Judas is in the comments sometimes. She sent me a thing about Thailand and how amazing that place is for like an adventure holiday.
Thailand's amazing.
Yeah, it does.
Love
You've
Thailand.
been?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been Thailand, Bali, any of those places. So
This is a first for me as well.
Went to Phuket. Not fuck it, surprisingly.
yes,
not
you
actually how it's
pronounce it
pronounced.
Phuket. Yeah, not fuck it. Yeah. Good.
Really beautiful. You can go to the temples and get blessed by a monk, which is really cool. So they'll put like a little bangle on your...
Not if you have your period, James.
Yeah. Luckily, James wasn't menstruating at that time.
I wasn't, so...
Aunt Flo wasn't around.
No, but he didn't have a heavy flow. Because they actually, aren't they still advertising some of them like that? Like some of the tampons you see heavy flow.
Oh, well, now it's more about period panties and menstrual cups.
No, but they still have.
You do, but
and they've got written in big letters, heavy flow, and you're
no,
like,
it's not called heavy flow.
yes, dude, I'm telling you.
It'll be called maxi something.
I'm telling you, heavy flow. I've seen it. All right, we're going to wrap this up. They have something for everyone in Thailand, says Goon.
Super, that's what they'll be called.
Oh,
Super.
Super, okay. That's useful to
No
know.
use of the word flow, just super.
Just super. Super.
Where's this flow coming from, guys?
I saw it once, I'm telling you. Maybe it was back in the 90s. Who knows? And, imagine being the girl who has to go up to the counter. It's like, because the teller never makes any fuss of anything unless you're buying tampons or condoms or something like that. Then suddenly they have to take a long time, right? You're going to buy your P. Diddy. You're going to go and buy some baby oil. And then suddenly they want to take like half an hour. Like, oh, what's the price of this baby oil? Like, how many condoms?
Yeah. Do you know this is on special? If you get 3, no thanks. Just put it through. Just put it through.
Definitely.
Also, if you could not hold it up for the whole store to see that.
Yes, no, always. Yeah. This lady needs tampons. How much for these red heavy flow?
Super Tempex.
Oh my God. James enjoyed the ping pong. Lee says it's dirty. It smells like. This is okay. So here's not a travel advisory, all right? So Lee says dirty, smells like shit. Got sick as hell from eating street food once, and loads of ladyboys around. Just a cuck place.
Sounds like Lee went to the wrong Thailand.
Lee, you definitely are not a great
Thailand's
ambassador.
a big place. I mean, yeah.
Didn't go to a ping pong show though. Would have loved to.
Oh no! My cousin went to one of those, and he said he was traumatized because this woman shot a budgie out of there or something.
Oh my God.
No, and this budgie was alive. Look,
No, come on.
He tells the story way better than I can, and it was like this sad-looking budgie that was.
No.
Who knows how long it had been hidden in there?
I don't want to hear this.
And he felt so sorry for this thing. He bought the budgie and tried to release it.
No, you're kidding me.
I swear to God, he wouldn't make that up.
My brother went to a ping pong show, and they wrote on a piece of paper, "Welcome to Thailand, Tristan," with the date and a heart, all with
inside the ball.
No, they put the pen there, and then the rest was.
She wrote that.
Yeah.
No, man.
With her vagina.
Yeah. I'll find it on my phone. I've got a picture of the actual paper that she wrote on.
James, you have to get that woman on the show.
Or...
Oh, by the way, we had a discussion the other day
Okay.
about the mahosha you were going to bring in.
Yes.
She never came. And the audience were very, very disappointed.
I'm on it. I'll fix it.
Bitcoin Bud says, can we get Leigh in for a travel segment on Wednesday? Yeah, Leigh sounds like she'd be a good counterpoint to all those great travel advisories that we do get from TourVest. I mean, that would be...
1 star. Smelly. Dirty.
We get Leigh in.
Do not recommend.
As the counterpoint to people who, this is the most... Like Achi, who's fantastic and tells us all about these amazing, secret, fantastic places. And then you get Leigh in. Nah, it's just shit. It's horrible.
5-star fantasy resort. Wouldn't rate today. Pretty shit.
Yeah. All right. Have a happy day, everybody. That's it for us this morning. We will be back on Wednesday, bright and early. Have an awesome June, because that's the month. Brand new month. June. Cheers. See you later.